Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. We're here right at open, 5 minutes after open, actually. You can see so far today, the Dow, it's ripping up 320 points up yet again, another rally day. But we just had our news report. Our April unemployment rate comes out. 20.5 million jobs were lost. Unemployment rate about 14.7, but that's not the whole story. If we look here, the real unemployment rate, as they like to call it, this is workers not looking for jobs at this point and underemployed, meaning they lost hours, had to take a job that's underneath their skill set, something of that sort, all the way up to 22.8. That's incredible. We've never had such a drop in jobs in 1 month. But we're getting through it. Everybody believes, almost everybody believes that once this is over, things will get back to normal. And these are numbers that we were somewhat familiar with. We were seeing our weekly unemployment rates or weekly jobless claims, things of that nature. So this number wasn't totally, uncalled for, unprepared. But still, news like this isn't necessarily good news. Stock market's racing up. Who knows really why? There's a lot of reasons. Could be, Jerome Powell over there printing out a little bit of money, and that's what keeps the economy afloat. That's what it keeps afloat for now, but we'll see how it plays in the long run, right? Secondarily, last night I said there was one stock I was curious about its earning report on. Well, we're going to look at that here. That's Seaworld. Seaworld came in, attendance decreased by 1 million guests, down to 2.3 million. That's almost 30% from the first quarter of 2019. Their revenue also dropped drastically. Got more than cut in half in the first quarter. And their net loss all the way up here to 56.5 million. That's incredible. They actually didn't shut down until all the way to March 16th. That's when they got shut down. They've also changed their credit agreements to get more. And they got a private offering of $227 million. That's all good. If we actually read down here a little lower, right here, Seaworld lets us know. As of April 30th, the company has just over $400 million in cash and cash equivalents. Based on that, with their cash outflow being between 20 and 25 million per month, their park can sustain being closed all the way till the fourth quarter of 2021. That's almost 2 years from today that they could continue to be closed without any income. But I believe SeaWorld will come up with other things. Zoos and things of the like are currently doing virtual tours. They're doing online tours. They're even doing car tours at the zoo near me where you can stay in your car and drive through the zoo. But we'll see how that plays out, see if they maybe make some sort of documentary. They start a YouTube channel. They do some sort of drive-through viewing. We'll have to see how they make it work. But I believe that SeaWorld could possibly make it happen. And if we look over here at the SeaWorld stock, they're down almost 5% today off this news. And from the peak, they're down all the way 60%. If you're willing to keep them and know that you can keep them pretty healthily all the way through the fourth quarter of 2021 before they have to make a comeback, it could be a good investment if you're willing to play it long term. Up next, we want to talk a little bit. I got a comment here a bit ago. We're going to see if we can kind of read it together here. It's this one. Uh-oh. That's not what I want to do. We're learning how to do things, guys. From Abna Onman. We hear this is in regards with my video I made a little bit ago. Norwegian Cruise Line down 22% today. Time to buy or nearing bankruptcy. We later learned they got $2 billion in funding, and they were able to make it work. That's fantastic. But we can see here, she said, we heard there are around 32,000 employees in Norwegian Cruise Lines working in the ships. I heard the company haven't paid anything to their staff who's supposed to be on contract now. Not even a 20% salary to cover the crew members' families' daily expenses during a pandemic. However, they announced 7 more new ships early this year when I am cruising. Norwegian Cruise Lines always donates millions to disasters in this world. We hear they ask the crew and to contact their government for any kind of financial support. Is there a possibility to make a video on that? Well, here we are. I wanted to talk a little bit about it. You know, it's not just about Norwegian Cruise Lines with 32,000 plus employees that they're furloughing and laying off for the foreseeable future. I wanted to talk a little bit about the ethics of investment. You know, if you don't believe in what a company is doing, how they're treating their employees, but there's a possibility to make money, is it the right way to make money? Or if it's an industry that you're not in agreement with. You know, we just saw Seaworld. We know there's been interesting times and some substantial news in the past about Seaworlds and their ethics towards animals. If you don't believe in what they do, there should be no reason you should invest with them. And that's right. But let's look a little bit about what Norwegian did. Well, Norwegian Cruise Line to furlough about 20% of their employees through July 31st. Says here, the furlough affects shoreside U.S. workers and some international offices. Norwegian had about 4,000 shoreside employees and 32,000 shipboard workers at the end of 2019, and roughly we can see 20% of them are getting furloughed. Well, that's never good, and we don't know what's part of that furlough. You know, I looked for as long as I could, and I could not find anything about what their contract looks like at Norwegian, if they're paying these people for their furlough, or if they're just being furloughed unpaid and hopefully getting a job back well, not hopefully, but guaranteed a job back once it's all over. We'll have to see how that plays out. But luckily at this point it is only 20% of them, and Norwegian has a known track record for doing a great job with internal promotions on its employees, alongside almost every cruise line actually. So we'll have to see. If that bugs you and bothers you that, you know, Norwegian Cruise Line and other cruise lines are getting employees from not always nations that have an unemployment situation, an unemployment insurance situation, and now they're going ahead and furloughing them unpaid, well, that falls under the ethics category. If you don't believe in what a company is doing, there should be no reason that you ever invest in it. And that's the end of it. Even if there is money to be made, it's not the right way to make money. Well, let's also talk about some stocks that are making big moves right now in the sectors that I've been watching very closely. We got United Airlines up 5% so far today. If we look at 5 days, we're up about 0.5%, which isn't phenomenal, but that's still good news. If we look at it for a month, we're actually down though, down 13% almost. Norwegian Cruise Lines, again, we just talked that they got their $2 billion in funding, and they've said that they are fine for over a year at this point without any income. And we can see they're up almost 7% today, and that's after yesterday also making big gains. And we can see they're up about 2% for the week. That's pretty good, all things considered, right now. For the month as well, they're up 10%. That's phenomenal for this sector. AMC, the movie theaters, up another 3.1%. And for the month, they're up 25%. That's great. AMC was on the brink of bankruptcy there for a while, and their stock got wildly cheap. Down here, you could buy it for $2 a share. And if we look from before this all happened, if you would have bought it at $2 a share, you would have got a 200% return on your investment. And right now, you would have already got a 100% return on your investment before they even opened back up in most places. Just they were able to get beyond that bankruptcy concern that was a very, very real concern when it came to AMC. Last but not least, we want to talk about Beyond Meat. Beyond Meat is down about 2% today. We know there's a meat crisis possibly looming in the near future. With everything going on in the world, it seems to be almost everybody's getting sick at these meat processing plants, and they're having to shut down, employees not show up, things of that nature. And Beyond Meat has stated that they're going to do their best to take full advantage of this near crisis as they can produce meat alternatives that I haven't tried yet myself, but I hear you can barely tell the difference. If we actually look for the 1 month, they've gone up 79% in 1 month. Just in the past 5 days, they've gone up over 30%, almost 40%. That's incredible. And they're still going up. They're now up almost 2%. Beyond Meat is looking like a pretty solid company. But the question is, do you believe in it enough to buy it, or do you think they're going to have some rough times ahead at some point? You can see here they had a low of only $54 a share, which means that you would have made a 131% return on your investment. That's phenomenal. And that's only in about a month that happened. You know, it's some interesting times here. Beyond Meat, I'm not sure what they have to keep themselves on the head of this market, but they're one to look into if you're curious about that industry. For me personally, I don't know enough about the food industry to ever really buy a stock like this. Going back towards the ethics conversation a little bit, I believe if you don't understand an industry that a company is in, you shouldn't buy it. I don't understand food production. I don't buy it. I do understand to some extent, much larger extent, the travel industry, which is why I look at things like AMC, even though it's not travel, it's kind of recreation. Why cruise lines like Norwegian and airlines like this. There's also hotels I watch, like Wyndham Rewards, things of that nature. But yeah, you should always invest, in my opinion, in the industry you know in, a company you're comfortable with, and ethics that follow your moral compass. Well, anyways, always remember, do your own research, take your own advice, find your own topics of interest, formulate your own opinions. Don't necessarily just listen to me. Anyways, thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below if there's anything else I should look into, and have a great day.